The courtroom thundered with the sound of the gavel, and silence cut through the air like a blade. Claire Bennett said, "This can't be real. They're taking everything." Her voice cracked, yet no one looked her way. The judge's eyes were cold, fixed on the papers that sealed her family's fate. Daniel Cross shifted uneasily beside her, whispering, "Hold on, maybe we can appeal." But the bailiff already moved forward, his steps echoing against marble floors. A single phone rang in the gallery, breaking the tension like shattered glass. Claire felt her pulse racing, her hands trembling as though she carried the weight of ghosts. "Justice isn't supposed to look like this," she murmured, clutching a worn letter hidden in her pocket. Every face around her seemed blurred, distant, unforgiving. The verdict's weight pressed into her chest, suffocating. She glanced at the door, memorizing the path, instinctively searching for escape. The echo of her family's loss reverberated in the silent hall, an agony no one dared to name. Claire stepped out of the courtroom, the echo of the gavel still lodged in her chest. Daniel whispered, "We need to breathe, just breathe." But air felt scarce, as though the walls chased them outside. The sky above was dull gray, smothering the city in muted tones. Claire touched her pocket where the letter rested, its weight unbearable. "They'll never understand what this means," she muttered, her voice trembling with restrained fury. Daniel reached for her arm but hesitated, his loyalty shaken by invisible debts. Claire scanned the street, memorizing exits, counting steps to every corner. Her mind spun with visions of what they had lost. The home, the memory, the life they once thought safe. The city buzzed around them, indifferent to their collapse. A woman brushed past without noticing Claire's pale face. Daniel said, "We'll fight, even if it kills us." But Claire stared blankly at the crosswalk, her thoughts consumed by guilt and ghosts. Sirens wailed in the distance, blending with the hum of traffic. The letter pressed into her side like a knife, an unopened truth begging to be faced. "They'll never give us justice," Claire whispered. The streetlight flickered, casting shadows that stretched like long arms reaching for her. They stopped at a cafe window, the glass reflecting a fractured version of themselves. Claire said, "We're not the same people anymore." Her voice shook, heavy with resignation. Daniel's reflection leaned close, his face older than moments before. "We can't break now," he pleaded. Inside, laughter spilled from strangers, piercing like cruel reminders. Claire turned away, her breath fogging the glass, obscuring their reflection until nothing remained but blurred shapes. Night fell heavy. Claire walked slowly down a dim alley, the letter burning in her pocket. Daniel followed, footsteps hesitant, the silence between them sharper than words. A flickering street lamp hummed above, its glow barely piercing the shadows. Claire whispered, "They've stolen everything, and now they want us silent." Her words dissolved into the night, swallowed by the void. Daniel looked up, his eyes darting toward the unseen corners. The air pressed in with the weight of inevitability, every step echoing like a countdown. The morning sun rose heavy with no warmth, painting the city in a pale gold that felt like mockery. Claire Bennett whispered, "Every breath feels borrowed." She sat by the kitchen table, the letter before her untouched, edges curling from years of silence. Daniel Cross leaned on the counter, jaw tight, hands restless as if searching for purpose. "You're not alone in this," he said, though his tone betrayed exhaustion. Claire lifted her eyes, distant, and murmured, "They already took everything, Daniel, even the parts of me I can't name." The silence between them stretched, thick with invisible wounds. A knock on the door shattered the moment. Daniel froze, but Claire stood, her body taut, scanning escape routes with instinctual precision. "It's never just a knock anymore," she whispered. The echo seemed to pulse through the walls, a reminder that danger followed them everywhere. The door creaked open, revealing Evelyn Moore, the warm comforter, her presence soft yet unsettling. She smiled warmly, saying, "I thought you might need a friend." Claire hesitated, her voice flat. "Friends don't knock this early." Evelyn's calm tone rolled like a lullaby. "Pain doesn't wait for timing, Claire." Daniel stepped forward, half defensive, half grateful, his loyalty torn. Evelyn's eyes lingered on the letter on the table, and for a flicker, the warmth of her smile cracked into something unreadable. Claire's stomach tightened, knowing trust often came with chains. Evelyn poured coffee, her hands steady, her tone honeyed. "You don't have to carry this alone," she said, eyes gentle but calculating. Claire forced a smile, whispering, "I don't finish coffee anymore." Daniel chuckled nervously, tension breaking only slightly. The warmth of Evelyn's words spread like a blanket, yet beneath it Claire sensed hidden hooks. Evelyn leaned closer, voice lower. "Some battles need allies who understand the cost." Claire's gaze sharpened, suspicion rising. She muttered, "And what will it cost me this time?" The air thickened, trust balanced on a knife's edge. Claire walked to the window, the city humming outside, neon signs flickering even in morning haze. She whispered, "It's strange how normal everything looks while we fall apart." Evelyn joined her, hand lightly brushing Claire's shoulder, soft but weighted. "Pain isolates, but you don't have to let it consume you," Evelyn murmured. Claire shivered at the contact, muttering, "Nothing comes free, not even comfort." Daniel's eyes followed the exchange, suspicion shadowing his loyalty. The reflection in the glass showed 3 figures, but the fracture in their unity was already visible. The moment broke when Evelyn's voice softened further. "There's a place, quiet, safe, where you can rest." Claire turned sharply, her voice hard. "Safe doesn't exist anymore." Daniel stepped closer, muttering, "Maybe we should hear her out." Evelyn's eyes gleamed, almost triumphant, as if trust were already hers. Claire gripped the letter tighter, her jaw clenched and whispered, "Nothing is safe, not while truth is buried." Silence fell heavy, the weight of choices pressing in. Night fell, cloaking the city in a restless hum. Claire Bennett whispered, "Every corner feels watched." Daniel cross-tightened his coat, muttering, "Paranoia isn't a crime when enemies are real." They crossed the street where shadows seemed alive. A flicker of movement caught Claire's eye, figures lingering in an alley, whispers carried on the wind. Evelyn Moore's warning returned to Claire's mind, words dripping with half-truths. Some battles need allies who understand the cost. Claire muttered bitterly, "Allies vanish when danger comes." Daniel pulled her closer, his gaze darting. "Then we hold together," he said. The letter pressed against Claire's chest like a silent scream, its secrets tightening chains around her. They entered an old library where dust clung to every shelf and silence pressed heavier than books. Claire said, "This was their meeting place once." Her hand trailed along spines of forgotten law texts. Daniel frowned, muttering, "Secrets don't hide here, they rot." A sudden cough startled them, and a teenage figure stepped into the dim light. Liam Carter, the reluctant fire starter, eyes sharp and restless. "You don't belong here," Liam said, voice laced with defiance. Claire's breath caught, recognizing familiarity in his defiance. "Who are you?" she whispered. Liam smirked, sketchbook tucked under his arm, muttering, "The one who knows why you lost everything." Liam's words hit like a spark in dry wood. Claire stammered, "You know about the letter?" His grin sharpened. "I know about all of it, the trial, the betrayal, the ghost you carry." Daniel snapped, "Careful, kid." Liam stepped closer, his energy vibrating with restless defiance. "You think this ends with a courtroom?" he said, voice cutting through the heavy air. Claire felt her chest tighten, anger clashing with desperate curiosity. "Why should we trust you?" she asked. Liam's glare softened briefly, revealing loneliness beneath. "Because I've been waiting for you to finally open your eyes," he whispered. Silence weighed heavy, broken only by the sound of a page turning. Claire opened the letter with trembling hands, the seal cracking like a wound reopening. Inside, faded ink bled across fragile paper. She whispered, "It was never supposed to come to this." Daniel leaned in, his breath unsteady, eyes widening at names that should have remained hidden. Liam said, "They buried the truth in lies, and you played their game." Claire's heart pounded, her voice breaking. "I survived, but survival was their design." The room seemed to shrink, shadows lengthening, pressing closer. Daniel whispered, "We were pawns." Liam smirked sadly. "Now you see the board." The library door slammed shut, echoing like a gunshot. Claire spun, panic flashing in her eyes. Daniel growled, "We're not alone." Footsteps echoed, deliberate, powerful. Evelyn's voice flowed from the shadows, calm yet chilling. "You should have burned that letter." Claire's stomach dropped, betrayal confirming itself in her tone. Liam whispered, "I told you, allies vanish." Daniel stepped in front of Claire, protective stance trembling with fear. Evelyn emerged, every movement graceful, her gaze unwavering. "Truth isn't yours to wield," she said. Claire's pulse thundered as the room filled with dread, the walls seeming to close in around their fragile hope. The air inside the library turned suffocating as Evelyn Moore stepped closer, her shadow stretching across the floor. Claire Bennett whispered, "Why you?" Her voice trembled with betrayal. Evelyn smiled unshaken, "Because truth is a weapon, Claire, and you're not strong enough to hold it." Daniel crossed fists clenched as he muttered, "You orchestrated this." Evelyn tilted her head, her gaze sharp as glass. "Every verdict, every silence, every loss, they were mine to shape," she said. Liam Carter smirked bitterly, muttering, "Told you, the enemy isn't outside. She's been at your table all along." Claire's heart raced, her memories unraveling, each thread leading back to Evelyn. Evelyn's voice was velvet over steel. "You lost because you were meant to," she said, circling them like a predator. Claire gasped, "You destroyed my family." Evelyn's smile deepened. "No, they destroyed themselves when they trusted me." Daniel's voice cracked, "You betrayed us all." Evelyn's eyes lingered on him. "I saved what could be saved. Sometimes loyalty bends to the greater good." Claire's breath hitched as the memory of every choice, every silence, fell into place. Liam whispered, "She's the architect." Evelyn extended her hand, her calm tone chilling. "Join me or remain broken." Claire's voice trembled as she said, "You were always there, guiding, comforting, lying." Evelyn's expression softened with mock sympathy. "I gave you strength, Claire. Pain made you useful." Daniel barked, "She doesn't need you." Evelyn turned to him, her eyes cutting. "You of all people should understand sacrifice, Daniel. You've betrayed before." His face darkened, guilt flickering across his features. Claire snapped, "What does she mean?" Daniel's silence was deafening, his loyalty suddenly uncertain. Liam's laughter broke the tension, sharp and bitter. "See? You're surrounded by liars, even those closest to you." Claire's world tilted, truth twisting into something crueler than lies. The letter slipped from Claire's trembling hands, pages scattering like broken truths. She cried, "It was you. It was always you." Evelyn's tone sharpened. "And you were too weak to see it." Daniel bent to pick up the papers, his hands shaking. "We can still fight this," he muttered, though his voice wavered. Evelyn stepped forward, towering in her calm composure, whispering, "Fight me, and you'll lose more than you already have." Liam's sharp eyes met Claire's. "This is your choice," he said. Claire's breath faltered as her gaze moved between Daniel's guilt, Liam's fire, and Evelyn's looming shadow. Claire rose slowly, shoulders squared, her voice breaking yet fierce. "You may have written my story, Evelyn, but I refuse to let you end it." Evelyn's eyes flickered with irritation, her calm veneer cracking. Daniel whispered urgently, "Careful, Claire." Liam stepped closer, smirking. "Finally she chooses to burn instead of bend." Evelyn's tone hardened, strength without control is chaos, and chaos destroys everything. Claire held her gaze, the air thick with defiance and dread. The silence stretched like a blade between them, ready to cut. Every truth revealed had left scars, but Claire's voice carved through the darkness. "Then let them see my scars." The library walls seemed to close in, as Evelyn Moore advanced, her voice slicing the silence. "Truth burns, Claire, but you don't know how to wield fire." Claire Bennett raised the letter high, trembling yet unyielding. "You'll never bury this again," she said, her voice cracking but fierce. Daniel Cross stepped forward, his stance protective. but Evelyn's gaze cut him down with quiet menace. "Loyalty is fragile, Daniel," she whispered. Liam Carter smirked, muttering finally, "The game catches fire." Claire's heart thundered, her scars igniting into defiance. The battle for justice was no longer in the courtroom, it was here, in this suffocating room of shadows. Evelyn's composure cracked as her voice rose. "You think this paper will save you? It will destroy you." Claire whispered, "Better destroyed than silenced." Daniel's hand shook as he muttered, "Claire, think carefully." Evelyn's laughter rang hollow, sharp as broken glass. "You have no allies," she declared. Liam stepped forward, his glare fierce. "She has me," he said. Evelyn's eyes narrowed, fury flashing. Claire's body shook, torn between fear and fire. "I'd rather die screaming truth than live under your lies," she said, her voice breaking yet resolute. The words carved into the room like a blade of light through suffocating dark. Daniel shouted, "Enough!" His voice cracked, filled with guilt and desperation. Claire turned, searching his face, fear mixing with betrayal. Evelyn smirked, her tone soft and venomous. "Tell her, Daniel. Tell her what you gave up." Daniel's eyes dropped, his body rigid. "I thought I was protecting us," he said, his voice low. Claire's heart sank. "You chose them over me," she whispered, her voice breaking. Liam muttered bitterly, "Even anchors sink when the weight is too heavy." Silence flooded the room, broken only by Claire's trembling breath. The truth had cut deeper than any blade, and nothing could sew the wound shut. Claire's tears blurred the page as she whispered, "You betrayed me too." Daniel's hands trembled, reaching toward her but halting midair. Evelyn's voice struck again. "Do you see now? Trust corrodes faster than lies." Liam shouted, "Stop listening to her." He stepped forward, pulling Claire's hand away from Daniel's reach. "You have to decide, Claire," he urged. Claire's chest heaved, every breath jagged. "The letter, the truth. It's all we have left," she said. Evelyn's eyes flashed, her tone cold and final. "The truth will kill you." Claire's voice steadied, low but unbreakable. "Then let it." The room exploded with tension. Evelyn lunged, her calm mask gone, eyes blazing. Claire stepped back, holding the letter like a shield. Daniel shoved himself between them, shouting, "You'll have to go through me." Evelyn sneered, "So be it." Liam darted forward, voice sharp as fire, "No more games." The clash of wills filled the air like thunder. Claire's voice rose, strong despite her trembling. "This ends here." The letter shook in her hand, symbol of both pain and power. Evelyn's fury burned, but so did Claire's defiance. Every word, every betrayal, every scar converged into this single breaking point. The silence cracked under Evelyn Moore's voice, sharp and controlled. "You were never meant to win," she said, her words coiling like smoke. Claire Bennett's hands trembled, but she raised the letter, whispering, "Then, why am I still standing?" Daniel Cross stepped forward, his frame rigid, voice strained. "You can't keep breaking her," he said, but Evelyn's gaze pierced him, calm yet deadly. "You broke her long before I did," she replied. Liam Carter's laugh cut through the tension, bitter and defiant. "Funny thing about fire," he said. "It spreads when you try to smother it." Claire's chest heaved, her heart racing as truth and lies collided in the suffocating air. Evelyn's calm cracked as her tone sharpened. "That letter isn't salvation. It's your execution." Claire shook, whispering, "Better to fall with truth than live under lies." Daniel's voice wavered, "Claire, please, don't throw us into fire." Evelyn laughed bitterly. "Fire consumes all, even the innocent." Liam stepped into the circle of light, fists clenched, voice rising. "Then let it consume you first." Claire's knees weakened, but her spirit hardened. She whispered, "This is the moment they'll never take from me." The air tightened, as though the entire world held its breath, waiting for the strike that would change everything. Daniel's voice cracked, raw with guilt. "Stop this! I can't watch her break again." Claire turned sharply, her eyes searching his, finding shadows of betrayal. Evelyn smirked with venomous satisfaction. Tell her, Daniel. She deserves your confession. Daniel froze, his breath shallow. I thought I was saving us, he whispered, his words dripping with regret. Claire's body shook as her voice cracked. You gave me away for your own survival. Liam's bitter laugh filled the silence. Anchors don't keep you safe, they drag you down. Evelyn's eyes gleamed in triumph as the fracture widened, trust crumbling into dust. Claire's tears fell onto the letter, blurring ink that once carried power. She whispered, You broke me too, Daniel. His hands trembled, reaching for her, then stopping midair. Evelyn's words slid into the pause like poison. Trust dies faster than love. Liam shouted, Don't let her decide your story. He pulled Claire's hand back, anchoring her. Claire's voice trembled, yet steadied. If truth destroys me, so be it. Evelyn's eyes narrowed, her composure cracking. Then you'll burn with it, she hissed. Claire's face hardened, her voice low. Better to burn than rot in your lies. The library erupted in chaos. Evelyn lunged, mask of calm shattered, her fury unleashed. Claire stumbled back, holding the letter like a shield. Daniel surged forward, shouting, You'll have to kill me first. Evelyn's voice roared, So be it. Liam's cry cut through the storm, No more lies. The clash of wills filled the air, fire meeting ice. Claire raised her voice above it all, trembling but defiant. This ends here with me. Papers swirled in the lamplight, every secret laid bare. The letter burned like a living thing in her hands, the weight of justice too heavy for silence any longer. The night bled into silence as Claire Bennett walked alone, the echo of her steps swallowed by an empty street. The letter was gone, consumed by flames, yet its ashes clung to her soul. Daniel Cross had stayed behind, weighed down by guilt, while Liam Carter vanished into the shadows, his restless energy unbound. Evelyn Moore's words haunted her still. Truth burns, and so do those who wield it. Claire whispered, Then let me burn, but let them remember. Her voice trembled, but her steps never faltered. The city lights flickered above her, indifferent, as though mocking her wounds. In her chest, grief and defiance clashed, leaving scars that would never fade. She pressed her hand against her heart, feeling the echo of every betrayal. Justice denied doesn't mean silence, she said, her voice fragile yet unbreakable. The night carried her words into the void, leaving only the question of what justice meant when everything was already lost. Inside her small apartment, Claire stood before the cracked mirror. The reflection showed a woman aged by grief yet unbroken. She whispered, They took everything, but I'm still here. Her hand traced the glass as if to touch the ghost of who she once was. On the table sat Daniel's unfinished note, his apology written in shaky ink. She read it, her lips moving silently over words that offered no comfort. The memory of Evelyn's calm voice returned, filling her with quiet fury. You'll never shape me again, she murmured. The room was silent, except for the ticking of a clock that seemed louder with every passing second. She pressed the note to her chest, torn between forgiveness and rage. I will not disappear, she said, her voice carrying strength. Yet the mirror reflected back only unanswered questions, a reminder that survival and justice are rarely the same. Claire walked to the old bridge where the city lights shimmered across the dark river. The night wind carried fragments of forgotten laughter, echoes of lives stolen from her. She whispered, I see you still, imagining the lingering memory that haunted her, a face that never aged, a smile trapped in time. Her chest tightened, grief pressing into her bones. Daniel's voice echoed faintly in memory. We'll fight even if it kills us. She closed her eyes, whispering, and it did. The water rippled below, reflecting fractured streaks of neon. Liam's defiant voice rose in her memory. Open your eyes, she murmured. I see too much now. Her tears fell, merging with the river's endless current. The ghost lingered beside her in silence, a reminder that the past had never truly left. Her voice broke. Your absence is louder than their lies. The night offered no answer, only silence. At dawn, Claire stood on the courthouse steps, her figure small against the towering stone. She whispered, "It began here. It ends here." The city stirred awake, yet no one noticed her. She imagined Evelyn's voice, venomous but calm. "Justice isn't yours to wield." Claire pressed her palm to the cold stone rail, her breath sharp in the morning air. "Maybe not," she said softly, "but neither is silence." Her scars throbbed beneath her coat, each one a mark of survival. Daniel's absence gnawed at her, his betrayal now carved into history. Liam's words rang clear in memory. "The game catches fire." She looked to the horizon, the sun spilling light over the empty street. "I will not vanish," she whispered. The gavel's echo still lived in her chest, but now it sounded different, less like an ending, more like a haunting that would never fade. Claire walked into the empty square, her steps slow, deliberate, as if each one carried the weight of the world. The letter was gone, the lies revealed, yet no victory came. She whispered, "Justice denied, but not forgotten." Her voice echoed against brick walls, hollow yet fierce. The lingering memory seemed to brush past her, a faint scent, a fleeting presence, a song only she could hear. She stopped, her body trembling as she muttered, "You're still with me, even if they're not." The wind tugged at her coat, scattering fragments of ash from the letter into the air. She looked up, eyes steady, whispering one final truth. "They can take everything, but they will remember my scars." Silence stretched across the square, her words lingering like a wound that never heals. The story closed not with justice served, but with a haunting that would echo forever.